Good afternoon, good afternoon. It's your boy, Fawness, here with another nice episode. Social climate. How y'all doing today? Guys, we got another great topic, man. We've been hitting y'all with all kind of good topics, man. We're gonna continue to do that, man. We're having a lot of fun. And I do have some video that I wanna edit before I get on here. So some of these talks that we have, we're gonna have some other videos where I go places and do things, but that's all coming in due time. I got a great subject to get into today. I want to talk about the senses. You know what I mean? The senses that we have, the 5 senses, sensations, and how to protect them. How to protect them from intrusion. Because as we know, your senses are very important, and what you take in does make a difference on who you are. You know what I mean? You could be traumatized. You can have something absorbed by one of your senses, and once you've absorbed it, you can't undo it. If you see something, you see something crazy and traumatic, you can't just get it out of your head. If it's too crazy for you, you can't deal. So we're gonna look at the 5 senses, and we'll break them down. When I was in college, I had this professor. I wish I knew remember his name, man. This guy was one of those professors. It looked like he walked out of the woods, literally. And I'm like, this guy's a professor? Brilliant man, though. And in his class was specifically about the 5 senses and how your 5 senses can be overwhelmed and how you can be manipulated and brainwashed if you're not paying attention to what's going on with your 5 senses. Just from habit, right? So let's go through, some of the senses, right? So you have sense of touch, right? The sense of smell, the sense of taste, the sense of seeing, and the sense of hearing. All right. So touch. We'll start with touch. Pretty basic. If someone violates your sense of touch, or they're too close to your personal space, that one's a little bit more identifiable. You can say, back up. You know what I mean? Get away from me. Because that gets into physical trauma, domestic violence, bullying, stuff like that, where people are invading your personal space and they're getting their hands on you. And as we do know, bullying, domestic violence, all of those things can end up causing trauma or tragedy, or can affect someone mentally and physically, of course. So we know that touch, the sense of touch, is very crucial, because even in birth, like when a baby's born, if the baby's not nurtured or kept warm near a bosom, or had someone to nurture the baby, the baby that will die, right? Lose humanity, become almost animalistic. The sense of touch is very powerful. So we got to understand that, it can cause trauma where someone gets raped or molested, the incest type of thing at a young age. That trauma can go to cause all type of horrific things in that person's future, and then on down the road generationally. So the sense of touch is very important, that you watch who touches you, puts their hands on you, who's around your children, how they interact with you, and if the touch is something that's uncomfortable, right? God gave us that sensation. So, simple thing. Stove is on, put your hand on the stove, it's gonna burn your hand, right? Simple to understand, that sense of touch. And He gave us feelings, so that when we touch something that don't feel good, we pull our hands off of it. We back away to protect ourselves. That's our protection. It's a sensation on the touch, right? So then you have tasting. That's another one that you can kind of do a good job of controlling things. No one's gonna force something in your mouth, you know what I mean? Most of the time, you see something, it can look good and smell good, but then you might want a little piece of it first to taste it, to see if it actually tastes good before you consume it, right? So sometimes our sense of taste can fool us, because something that tastes good might not necessarily be good for us. So you have to pay attention to your taste. The easy one is when something don't taste good, right? And we're like, nasty, disgusting, right? I don't want that. Oh, not good. But it's more difficult when something does taste good. I'll give you a prime example. Sugar, right? Diabetes, right? High blood pressure, right? Obesity. So the sugar tastes good, right? And they get kids with candy. Halloween, right? These make money off of these holidays and pumping your kids with sugar, and it tastes good, but it's destroying them. You know, I've seen studies done on sugar and the effects it can have on the brain. And I'm telling you, when they put the brain with sugar in it next to a brain that was like on serious drugs, I think it was like cocaine or something, in the one experiment I saw, like sugar is almost just as bad and addictive as a drug, a hardcore drug. So taste is very important, right? And you have to be able to discern, you know, if something tastes good, you know, if you should consume it or not. You know, because poison that tastes good can be very, very dangerous, right? Because you're not know you're ingesting poison. All right, so that sense right there is very crucial as well as a sense of taste, right? All right, then we have smell. You know, smell's another one which we can kind of control, pretty much. You know, you in a house, you smell something burning, that tells you, get out, flee, run, right? Someone, you know, bust a whatever, right? Bust a fart or whatever, man, it's gonna stink. Everybody clearing the area. You know, that's simple. You understand that, right? Something smells nasty, you get away, right? The perfumes and things like that. Something smells good, it's attractive to you. It does something to you. Pheromones, you know, hormones, all that kind of stuff. So your sense of smell, something that's given to you, so you can identify if you should go towards something or not, if you should want something or not, right? Flowers smell beautiful. Food, you know, it's cooked, smells great. You know, when a body's decaying, it has that distinct, horrible smell. That smell tells you there's disease, that you should go in a different direction. Pay attention to your senses. So that sense of smell is very, very important, right? You're gonna go with a young lady, you're doing whatever to her, and that hand come up, that finger come up, and you're like, woo, right? Ladies, you know, you wanna go down on your man, and you're heading down that way, right? You smelling cashews and salty nuts, right? You're like, whoa, that sense of smell is crucial. Very important, listen to your sense of smell. So we've gone over the sense of touch, the sense of taste, and the sense of smell. Those ones are a little bit easier to kind of control or stop if you don't want it to back away and get something out of those senses. Now the sense of sight and the sense of hearing are a little more difficult to protect. There have been agendas in this country created to capture your sense of sight and your sense of hearing and control them through programming. I'll give you an example. Now, when I say this, some of you guys will be like, oh, that's radical, I don't believe you. Look it up. Look it up for yourself. I know that during a certain time period, when the radio was initially invented, there was an experiment done on a radio to see how the populace would react. I don't know if it was George Wells, but they pretended aliens were coming on a radio. They did a broadcast to see how the populace would respond, right? And so they developed radio broadcasting, and with this radio broadcasting came programming, right? What does it mean to program something, right? To put in a code so that that thing operates the way you designed it or the way you want it to operate. So if you're calling a radio show, a radio program, take a look at the history of it to see if programming was developed for manipulation, right? So when you're listening to the radio and you hear that radio program, you know, you turn the radio on, immediately sounds are coming into your ear, right? Now, you don't know what song that DJ is going to play next. Hopefully you choose a radio station that you trust and you like. But potentially, You don't know what's coming in that radio and it's about to hit your ears. And once it hits your ears, it's hard to get it out or forget what you heard. So music with a lot of cussing, right? A lot of derogatory things. Even music with whispers in it. I remember, when Tupac passed away, Tupac Shakur, and his CD Machiavelli came out. I was in college. And when you played that CD, some of you guys might know what I'm talking about. When you first put the CD in, we used to turn the volume all the way up. Now, we'd be at parties, drinking, having a good old time. And when we put that Machiavelli in, man, we'd turn that volume all the way up. And we'd hit play on that CD, right? And we would swear and go crazy because we would all swear that we heard a voice say, Suge shot me, right? And the rumors started coming out, Suge shot Tupac. Well, I heard that on that CD. So hearing something is very, very powerful. So be careful what goes into your eardrums, because music is very influential. And our culture and society has changed a lot. Our music has changed a lot in the past 20, 30 years. If you take a look at the music and then take a look at the society, you can kind of see how the music has influenced our society. A lot of people even think that some of these A&Rs are purposely pushing negative music to affect and change society. Okay, so once you hear something, it's hard to remove it from your ears. If you ever get in an argument and you said something you regret, right? That person you said it to may remember that for the rest of their life, depending on what you say to them. And they may not look at you the same anymore based off of those words that come out your mouth. Words are vibrations. Words are real. You cannot see them, but they can affect you. There was an experiment done with water. You can check this up too. Look it up, all right, if you don't believe me, for sure, right? They had 2 bottles of water. One bottle of water, they said beautiful things too, nice things, encouraging things. I love you, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're funny, have a great day. The other bottle of water, they cussed at it. They played nasty music. They said horrific, abominable things to that cup of water. They froze the 2 cups of water, got it under a microscope, and checked it out. Don't you know that the molecules of water that they said horrible things to was deformed? Like deformed snowflake shapes. And the water that they said loving things to, when they froze that and they looked under a microscope, perfect symmetric snow cone molecule shapes of the water. Look it up if you don't believe me. Words do matter. The tongue is more powerful than the sword. If you ever heard that, there's some validity to that. All right. A sword is swung. A word said and can be repeated millions of times. All right, so now, the other sense would be the sense of sight, right? Seeing. Now, the sense of sight, okay, that one, we have television, right? If you see something horrific in real life, that's trauma. People that go to war and see and hear the sounds that happen in war, they come back with post-traumatic stress syndrome, right? Just from their senses being overwhelmed and attacked. So now we have our children, we're watching movies, we're watching things on TV that simulate war. They play video games that simulate war. All these things are going into their sense orbs, desensitizing them, right? So when you see something on that TV, it's similar to the radio. You don't know what's on that TV program or what's coming up on the commercial after that. A lot of times they know when they show you that commercial, they can make you hungry if they put food on that commercial. That's why advertising is so important for the Super Bowl, right? A lot of people watch the Super Bowl not for the Super Bowl or football, but for the commercials, because they know the whole world is watching and they can attack people's senses and get people to spend money if they hit the right sensory orbs. So pay attention. It is crucial that you pay attention to what's going into your sense organs, right? To your ears, your mouth, your nose, your skin, right? Be aware of what you're taking in and what you're absorbing. all right? Because that, once you absorb it, it may be hard to get rid of it or to change it, and it may affect who you are. So be careful. There's a lot of studies and a lot of people that spend a lot of money to make sure that they market and sell things to you that affect your sensory organs to get you to spend money. So be very careful out there. Protect yourself, protect your families. Man, be aware of your five senses. You know, I'll give you another example. It could be used in military warfare and propaganda. Like in Germany, you know, the Germans used the propaganda against the Jews that were in Germany by displaying, you know, horrific cartoons and pictures and images and slandering the Jewish people in Germany. And over time, you know, people started to take in those ideas and those ideologies. And eventually we know what that led to in Germany. I remember being young, even in America, watching cartoons in America, watching shows when I first came to this country. Rambo, you know, the G.I. Joe, so many shows. They always depicted